I'm glad you're safe now.
We aren't really safe here, are we?
It was holidays.
He said his name. Barely even knew that. Here, are we?
So long as Gareth returns, we will be.
You are fortunate to have found this place. The hollow marshes swallow life and regurgitate only the dead. My name is Bahara. Like you, I am a sorcerer. But unlike you, I am also a faithful servant of Amadia. Praised be her name and praised be her starlit eyes. Your chant has no meaning, for you know not of whom you speak. So let us sweep away such ill-starred ignorance and allow me to enlighten you. Amadia is the Great Mother. She is the goddess in whose womb magic was conceived, from whose sacred body immortal wizards were born. Gratiana, her priestess in this sanctuary, is teaching me her ways. For several years now, I've been her disciple, but she has resided here for centuries, sustained by Amadia's love. I am forbidden to leave my watch, and there is no need for formality. Gratiana will receive you as you are. You'll soon find her. She never strays far from the statue of our goddess. It is the laboratory of a lunatic, a place removed from mercy and sanity where mad Brachus Rex would experiment to his dark heart's content. There are ruins in the marshes, stonework vultures that perch above the king's long-buried treasure. But his is not a treasure of gold, ruby, and sapphire. It is a treasure of death, weapons, and vile magic. There are ruins north and east, but I didn't liken them to vultures for naught. These are cursed places, haunted by the souls of the accursed. The guests, they call themselves Seekers. They're brave people, and friends to sorcerers. But you'll find them a battered band here today, brought low by bloody battle. Magisters, of course. Who else? The Seekers came here to rescue a sorcerer from the fort. They failed. Many fell. They've heard the Shrieker's shriek. I thank the goddess I'm not haunted by their sound. To know one's fate is to be fearless. I reside in Amadia's palm. I am hers to shield or hers to crush, and in that knowledge, I am content. They knew him to be God-woken. They sought to kindle the divinity slumbering deep within his soul. But Alexandar bears no rivals. Only the son can follow the father, or so he is convinced. For him, divinity. For the others, the dungeons. It is truly harrowing to know this man seeks to be the Seven's chosen. Have you never heard of them? From the tales they tell of Brachus Rex. They were living weapons, made of flesh and reared in torture. The pain they endured was so terrible, their screams turned to solid lightning. Turns out the tales are true. The Magisters dug deep and returned these horrors to the surface.
As you wish.
Haunted quagmires is what they are, and what is mired in them is madness. Brachus Rex. He went too far. Source was never meant to be harnessed in weaponry. May Amadia curse his soul for turning creation into destruction. My knowledge is but a pond. Gratiana's is the sea. It is the sea you should speak to.
You tried your best. I'm glad you're safe now.
Claude,
We aren't really
Claude.
safe here, are
can
we?
you hear me?
Gareth at times, we will be. You're certain it was Verdus?
He said his name. Barely even knew that much. But still.
You tried your best, Han. I'm glad you're safe now.
Here are we?
Don't move, Jules. You're certain it was Verdus?
He said his name. Barely even knew that much. But still.
You tried your best, Han.
You're alive! Wasn't sure you would be. Samadel, this is the one I told you about.
The dishevelled lizard eyes you with hope, though her hope is tinged with mistrust.
Han tells me you helped him out of Fort Joy. For that, you have my thanks.
Focus on your breathing, Jules.
Samadel presses her lips together. Disbelief and indignation shine from the narrowed eyes she trains on you.
For shame! The shame of Damien upon you! The survival of a child should be reward enough. The survival of Revellon itself, should we seekers be successful. You had me there for a moment. I'm sorry, my humour's not what it once was. We're all very anxious here. Can I ask if... Did you happen to meet a man named Gareth on your way here?
He'll be back, Samadel. I know he will. He has to.
He has to, indeed. We need our leader. And if he doesn't return with help soon, we haven't a hope. You're kind to offer, but you'd best talk to Gareth's squire, Exeter. He'll know where your talents can be most used. Now, Han, let's take a look at your nasty leg injury.
Catch you later, Skipper. It's good you're here.
Don't move, Jules. Save your strength. Claude, turn your head.
By Lucian's locks, how did you cut up your leg so badly?
Matis, let me change your dressing.
Samadel's focus and attention is wholeheartedly devoted to tending Han's leg. Han stares fixedly at the dirt floor, twitching lips giving away the grimace he's trying to hide as Samadel applies stinking ointment to a deep gash on his leg.
Glad you made it here in one piece. Any idea what you're going to do next?
He looks at you sidelong, brow furrowing.
Sure, just don't get too cosy. If you're smart, you won't stay here too long.
Folks here just want to cry over spilt milk and wait for Gareth. Soon as I'm healed, I'll find him myself. Someone has to.
If you have one to spare, I sure would appreciate it.
He gulps down the potion and stretches his leg in front of him, grinning.
Almost good as new now. Thanks.
Soon as I'm able, I'll be out of here to track down Gareth. There's no time to waste.
Rest, Jules.
The young woman chews her lower lip as she observes the injured before her. She bends to grab a rag, wiping her blood-smeared hands. She looks up and sees you.
If you're looking for healing, Sorcerer, well, there's not much I can do.
She shoots you an angry look.
We don't abandon our brethren. As long as we draw breath, we'll keep helping each other. What kind of a man are you to say such things? Of course they do. How can you live without trust and companionship? They would do anything for me, and I would do anything for them in return. I've done all I can. Their wounds are too great. All I can offer them now is prayer and a cup of water. If you know a way, I'd be beyond grateful. Magic? All I've got is my own 2 hands and...
She trails off and limply gestures to her paltry makeshift infirmary.
I'm not even a healer. Ours was killed in the attack. I'm just a cook. Do what you will. Just don't cause them any more suffering. Claude, turn your head if you can hear me. Matis, let me change your dressing.
In an instant. My wounds have all but vanished. I didn't think. I was certain I wouldn't. Thank you. The Magister flagship. It has ballastay that tore our ship into kindling. A shard from our own mast pierced my side. I'm lucky the others managed to haul me all the way here. Especially after I saw what the Magisters did to those of us they captured.
He shudders at the memory.
They turn the living into shriekers. Crucified wretches that unleash pure destruction on anyone who tries to pass. Nobody survives those things. You wouldn't be in such a hurry if you saw the kind of things the Magisters are doing. The kind of things they used against us.
He shudders at the memory.
They turn the living into I wish I had a fitting way to thank the person who saved my life. As it is, all I can offer is, well, it's not much, but maybe you'll find some use for it. Thank you.
You brought him
What?
back from the brink.
Please.
Thank you.
Water.
You healed me. How did you... Oh, never mind. I don't care how. I only care that today won't be my last.
Matis, the wound is festering. It needs to be changed.
I don't remember much. I barely had time to realize the Magisters were attacking before I was injured. The last thing I saw were these things, these shriekers. A lot of what happened was a blur after I was hit. But I do remember the screams from those shrieker monstrosities and my own brethren screaming in pain. Those Magisters are going to pay in blood for what they did to us.
He nods with a determined grimace.
A lot of what happened was a blur after I was hit.
Matis, the wound
But I
is
do remember
festering.
the
It needs
screams
to be changed.
from those shrieker monstrosities and my own brethren screaming in pain. Those Magisters are going to pay in blood for what they did to us. If my mother were here, she'd box my ears for not being able to thank you properly. Though I reckon that walloping from the Reds was punishment enough. Take this, at least. It'll have to do. Thank you.
Please, bring them all back from the brink. Matis, let me change your dressing.
I will not be a burden. Leave me be.
Water. Please. Water.
The lizard holds a crimson-soaked rag against his side. He looks up as you approach, his expression oddly serene.
Magisters, they found our camp near the old harbour and unleashed hell upon us. I'm lucky in a way. I was wounded by an arrow. It wasn't just sword and spear the Magisters used on us. No, they had these weapons. Living beings, depleted of source and crucified, pathetic to look at until... The power that they unleashed. There was nothing we could do. Only run. Shriekers they're called. I can still hear that sound they uttered. Makes my scales crawl.
Sir Gareth is looking for a way to defeat them now. Let us hope he finds it.
And how do you have so much power?
You've healed us. All of us. I owe you a debt. We all do. The Magisters attacked our camp back at the harbour. I caught one of their arrows right in my side. That would have been a slow death. I've seen it before.
He lands a comradely slap on your back. His strength has definitely returned.
Don't you doubt it. This old war serpent's still got some fight left in him, especially now that wound is healed.
They're going to be all right. Thank you. Thank you, gods above, thank you.
I feel better.
Healed? I'm healed.
The fog is lifting.
Maybe we should fortify this place. Make a stand.
Screams. Echoes of death.
No, we don't have the time.
Gareth, please come back.
What took you so long? I'm ready to take up arms if you are. What took you so...
Wish, bonny bairn, now don't you cry. The birds are asleep, the moon's in the sky.
A young man in oversized armour paces around a table covered with a spread of maps, his face a tight scowl of frustration.
Every approach blocked. Oh, damn it. What good are battle tactics against those things anyway?
He glances up. In quick succession, he becomes aware of both your presence and the fact that you're not a familiar face.
Who the blazes are you? Ifan, eh? On the run from Fort Joy, are you? The Seeker can always recognize a sorcerer when they see one. You met Verdus. Oh, then he's as good as dead. We're the Seekers he spoke of. We were supposed to free him. Instead, we've failed him. You, a Godwoken? Surely not. Though if Verdus said so, you could be important. But there's no way to be certain until we've left this blasted island behind us. Verdus was Godwoken. He was a powerful sorcerer, in the vein of Lucian the Divine. He had the potential to succeed Lucian if he mastered his powers. But now that won't happen. If you're the same as Verdus, then we have to get you away from this place. Someone's been killing the few Godwoken that are out here. Likely that dog Alexandar. He's a Godwoken too. A failed one as far as I'm concerned. I can imagine he won't want any upstart Godwoken taking what he figures to be his birthright.
The young man anxiously fidgets with his curved bow. You've found a matter close to his heart, evidently.
That's easier said than done, I'm afraid. Much easier said. The Magisters have us cornered. They have these weapons called Shriekers. If we try to go against them unprepared, we're dead. We've lost many already. There's weapons, ancient devices that can counter those things. Our leader, Sir Gareth, set out to find them, so we could break the Magister blockade and escape this island. But he hasn't returned. If Sir Gareth doesn't come back with those weapons in tow, well, this island will be our grave. Sir Gareth? He's the finest seeker I know. I'm honoured to serve as his squire. He wouldn't let us down. Not unless something's gone horribly wrong.
The young man throws a furtive glance towards the shrine looming out of the water nearby, then leans in to whisper.
The masked priestess, Gratiana. She gave us shelter here and told Sir Gareth how to stop the Shriekers. But she unnerves me. Speak to her if you wish. She may know more. You'll help us?
His shoulders visibly relax, the weighty armour upon them settling with a clink.
Thank you. Allies are in short supply in this place. If you help us, I promise, we'll get you as far away from this place as possible. Please, ask. Whatever helps.
He narrows his eyes, yet doesn't say anything.
We came to free an elf called Verdus from Fort Joy. He was a godwoken. He could have been the next divine, but we failed him. Well, before there's a divine, there must be a godwoken. Only a special few among sorcerers have this potential. Without them, a true successor to Lucian will never rise.
Wished bonny bairn, now don't you cry.
None.
The birds are asleep.
He set out to find those source weapons, and that's the last we saw of him. The Magister flagship, the Lady Vengeance, she's anchored at the old harbour. Once the way is clear, we're to take her and get the hell out of here.
Please, Amadia, bless and protect your humble servant.
Smoke and screams. Echoes of death.
Wished bonny bairn, now don't you cry.
Please come back.
The birds are asleep, the moon's in the sky. The seven watch o'er us, you're safe in bed. So close your sweet eyes and rest your wee head.
Please, Amadia, bless and protect your humble servant.
Let's team up, you and me. What do you say? Suit yourself then.
He drags a comb through his beard. His face bears the scars of a hearty life, but his whiskers glisten as if glazed by the morning dew.
Wished bonny bairn, now don't you cry. The birds are asleep, the moon's in the sky. The seven watch o'er us.
What took you so long?
You're not quite certain you'll ever sleep soundly with Sabine in any sort of proximity, but at least she's on your side, for the moment. You were a genius maze builder. Clear of mind, sharp of wit. You built an invisible staircase, useful to those who may find it. You are floating a few inches above the ground. Your friends are impressed. You bask in their hoots and hollers. Your favorite party trick. You hardly recognize him, but there he is, Alexander. You're shocked to see a sorcerer's collar around his neck. He seems so different now compared to how he looked back in school. You see him coming for you. You saw what he did to the others. You pray, you pray, you pray, you pray.
Speak if you wish to. Unless you love the idea of a life knee-deep in swamp water, I suggest we look for a ship.
One of her eyebrows arcs, like a cat arching its back, ready to scratch.
A touchy subject, I warn you. It didn't exactly feel like a kiss. But the true pain came after, when I lost all of my own volition. I served but the Master. The Master and none but he.
Her right hand goes for her needle, a quick, routine motion. But then she stops herself.
Go, before I lose my temper. Your eyes brim with inquiry, so ask.
Are you certain you want to do—
If we have different paths to take.
This again. Rubbish.
The birds are asleep, the moon's in the sky. The seven watch o'er us, you're safe in bed. So close your
Smoke
sweet
and
eyes,
screams.
rest your wee head.
Echoes of death.
Sir Gareth, did you find any sign of him?
Please come. 'Come back. 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 'Come
A dwarf stands by a young woman. He seems intensely focused on her, whispering and singing softly in her ear. She's staring blankly into space.
Blood and bone, fire and smoke, death and worse.
Hush now, Leia. They'll not hurt you again. You're safe now. Once Gareth gets back, we're going home. You'll see. He'll be fine.
The woman rubs her neck, raking her nails across her skin as she whimpers. The dwarf starts at the sound of your voice, gripping the woman's arm for a moment before he relaxes.
New faces. Hope you weren't bushwhacked by the Magisters too. As for her neck, she's remembering the damnable source collar she once wore. Lucky for us, she had the skills to remove them. There's many a sorcerer that's been freed thanks to her.
The dwarf smiles, his eyes filling with warmth as he looks at Leia.
Aye, we are at that.
He strokes her hair as Leia leans her forehead against his shoulder, muttering quietly about Gareth.
We were part of the caravan headed to Fort Joy, shiny collars and all. Gareth and the Seekers ambushed the caravan and freed us, saved every one of us from that hell. But now he's off searching for weapons to take down them Shriekers, and all we can do is sit here, thinking about the Godwoken we didn't save.
From fragments to whole, from their past to our future, from their hope to ours.
She ain't detailed, but she ain't wrong. The Godwoken are our hope that a new divine can be born. Someone to replace Lucian and push back them Voidwoken. Someone to restore order and protect the source. I'd speak to Exeter if you want to know more. There's ways, but I ain't privy to them. One thing I do know, mind. The Voidwoken have their number. They react to Godwoken like no one else.
Barking dogs in wolves' clothing.
The dwarf nods at you before turning back to Leia. He starts to sing quietly to her.
Please, Amadia, bless and protect your humble...
Duggan stands over Leia, singing softly as she mutters about Gareth.
There, lass. Don't you worry. Gareth will be back soon. You'll see. He'll be back. Wished bonny barn, now don't you cry. The birds are asleep, the moon's in the sky.
Before you stands a figure, her body wreathed in cloth. All you can see of her eyes are two dark holes in an ornate mask.
Amadia's blessings, child. I have not seen this face in our sanctuary before. Pray, who are you? As are so many, I pray you will be comfortable here. I am Gratiana, priestess of Amadia. It is a privilege to welcome you to her sanctuary from Brachus's vile swamps.
She pauses for a moment before answering.
We must always strive to help those who suffer. For many years I did not understand that simple truth. For many more, I have tried to right the wrongs of my past.
Despite the mask, you can feel her expression harden.
Time is a river, ever slipping by. It does no good to mourn what's gone before, only to appreciate where the current carries us. In this place I can worship the goddess Amadia and help those who come to me for aid. I live a good life. The person that I was is dead. It was not always thus. This swamp was once a rich, lush land before he came, before Brachus. He is no more, thank the goddess. It has been many centuries since he walked Rivellon, although he still casts a shadow over this land. He ruled this realm as a tyrant and beast. He stole its source and left only death. On this island he built and tested his weapons. These marshes were a playground for he and his necromancers. Many unfortunate souls were brought here. Blessed were those who died quickly, or died at all. Brachus was a horror, of that there is no doubt. He stripped this land of its source and took it for himself, just as the Magisters do today. Indeed, the Magisters have even taken Brachus's worst tools. First, the purging ones, and now those shriekers. Without something more powerful than these sticks the Seekers are armed with, those crucified monstrosities will kill them to a man. Twice today I've heard those words. Their leader, Gareth, insisted that he could lead them out of this place. I told him of Brachus's cache of soul-forged weapons, arms not even the Shriekers could stand against. He ventured out to find them, but has not returned. I fear for these souls, if he has come to any harm in the marsh. Without the wands he seeks, not one will escape this island. Gladly, but I fear you'll fare no better than the Seeker. North of here you'll find the ruins of Brachus's source armory. Nothing in this land can counter the Shrieker's power like those weapons. Without them, the Seekers are truly hopeless. Walk ever in Amadia's grace, child.
We should fortify this place. Make a stand. No, no, we don't have the time.
They found us.
Damn it.
Found him.
Gareth
Won't
would know
ever
what
stop.
to do.
Martha's axe looks serviceable.
The birds are asleep, the moon's in the sky.
Amidst the placid little pond, the face of a goddess lies half submerged in the water. Rivulets stream from her deep-set eyes like endless cascades of sunlit tears. You feel peaceful in her presence, soothed somehow by an intangible comfort. As you gaze upon her loving face, you find yourself drawn into a trance-like state. A voice seems to reach you from within your mind and from the furthest reaches of the stars. Its whispers caress you like a breeze. The voice grows stronger, like a breeze picking up. What were whispers become words.
My children, my children. Gone are my children. Dead are they in the cradle I have wrought.
Despite your reluctance to answer her, you can feel her presence gently goading you more closely toward her.
My child, weep with me for the mother who has lost. Weep with me and bathe in the tears of Amadia.
You feel the goddess's presence surround you, feel her nestle you tenderly like a mother. The intensity of her embrace deepens. Never since the unremembered days of childhood have you been so enveloped in maternal safety.
My child, I love you. My own. I will guard you. Wander where you will, and cherish the kiss of Amadia.
As suddenly as it came, the voice is gone, and you wake from its presence as if from dream-filled slumber. The pond now shines with an inner light, and standing in its waters, you feel rejuvenated, pure, as if born anew.
They found us. Found him. I won't ever stop.
A grim-faced man sifts through a pile of badly damaged weapons, salvaging the repairable, ditching the broken. He picks up a rapier, the blade nicked and splintered, the hilt twisted. He holds the damaged blade up to the light.
This was Halorn's blade. It was his first. It was also his last. He didn't intend to die here, but die here he did. He was an ordinary soul with an extraordinary heart, Halorn, and he died for what he believed. What did Halorn believe in? He believed in truth. He believed in hope. He believed that Alexander is a killer of Godwoken. I believe that on one point at least, he was right.
The point breaks away, leaving a jagged edge. The sword is shorter now, but it'll do more damage.
Who are you?
He realizes, to his surprise, that he holds the weapon in his hand, ready for battle. He smiles to himself, tucks the weapon away, and gets back to work.
Please, Amadia, bless and protect your humble servant. Mother of magic, hear my prayer. Protect these poor souls in their time of need. I pray that you ease their pain and see them safe in your grace. Please, Amadia, bless and protect your humble servant.
More junk? Most of this is scrap.
Please, Amadia, bless and protect your humble servant.
If I had a forge, I could do something. Maybe.
feel better.
So close your sweet eyes and rest.
Gareth.
Maybe we should fortify this place. Make a stand. No, no, we don't have the time. Think, damn it. Gareth would know what to do.